It got a little bit heated. It's yelled, well, we're on the board. I got to call the police. Some of the people in this campground have been really
They have been
terrible neighbors.
terrible. We started kind of feeling picked on. Why are we such targets here?
That is not cool.
No.
You know, we love it here, but they have just made it like a living hell. We are being harassed at this RV park during the pandemic.
Yeah, not cool.
Hi guys, I'm Tom.
Hey, I'm Cheri.
And this is EnjoyTheJourney.Life. It's getting a little tough to enjoy the journey these days here. And we're not talking about the pandemic, although that does play a factor in this. So basically, we've been in this spot here in Florida for a few months trying to ride out the pandemic. And if you've watched our channel before, you know us. We talk about the real, even if it's not a fun situation, because if it happens to us, it can happen to you. And it can give you a chance to maybe learn from the experience and avoid it.
Yes, and we always still, no matter what the situation, no matter what the challenge, we always still enjoy the journey.
Right, we look for ways to enjoy it because we believe in every challenge there's like this seed of an equal or greater opportunity to come out of that. And we're going to talk more about that as well. So to kind of back up a little bit is why we're here at this park.
Yeah, well, for the pandemic, we wanted somewhere where we felt safe and familiar with the area, which is Destin, Florida, where I'm from. And we thought it was the perfect place to be.
Yeah, this is a little private RV park that we actually have some history in. This is the park where I moved to from Pensacola Beach right after we first met.
Yeah. It's a small little park. There's only, what, 30 spots here?
It really is a very small park, and it is managed by an HOA, which is a big part of the challenge of being here. And each lot, instead of being rented out by the HOA or the management, it's actually rented out by the owner.
Yes.
And because some of the owners don't stay here all the time or don't leave their RV here all the time, they make some extra money by renting it out to individual people like us. So this makes it a great deal for us because this is a very touristy area.
Yes.
And the rental prices at regular RV parks
are very expensive.
Are crazy. We're actually not too far away from Camp Gulf.
Yeah, but although we are paying double this time than what we paid 3 years ago.
So actually this park is, brace for it, are you sitting down? It's $1,200 a month plus electric.
Plus electric. And how much did you pay the last time you were here when we were dating?
$650.
Yeah, it's quite the difference.
Quite a jump. I guess the Destin secret is out that some of the best beaches we think in the country are here. So anyway, it's a nice little gated park, fairly private, fairly quiet. And we thought it would be the perfect place.
Yeah.
Actually become our worst RV park experience yet.
Ever. Yeah.
And we can show you and tell you exactly what happened.
Yeah. We've been in hundreds of campgrounds over the years and, moving every 2 to 4 weeks, sometimes a little longer, but never have we had an experience like this before. So not only are we paying the most we've ever paid, but it has been the least enjoyable experience.
Now, because this is a monthly spot, we did have to sign a lease with the landlord of our particular lot that we're in and sign some rules. And, rules at RV parks and campgrounds are not unusual.
Right.
This one is, they're a little strict, but nothing like we haven't seen before.
Yeah. So one morning we were having a little water issue. We were calling the plumber to come fix it for us, and they insisted on fixing it themselves. So that was really kind of them, and we thanked them and decided to go get them some wine gift certificates from the local winery.
You had a really great conversation with the president of the board.
And he talked a lot about how much they enjoy wine. So I thought, well, this will be perfect.
Right.
So we got the president and his wife a $25 gift certificate.
As well as some other board members. Yeah, just as a way of saying thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We thought those gift certificates were a good idea, but actually it wasn't. Things really started to go south as the coronavirus pandemic really was picking up steam.
So my son lives here in Destin, and because of the pandemic, his job closed down, and so he was out of work. So we have this little shed thing out here. It's like a little apartment, a little studio, and so he wanted to stay with us and hang out with us. So we're like, great. Because it's traveling as much as we do. When we get to see family, we want to spend time with family.
So as the coronavirus pandemic was picking up steam, the board started to close things down, like closing the park to guests and also closing the pool area. And we got a complaint from the owner that we had someone staying in the shed, and also about a third vehicle being on the property. I just texted him back and said that I wish that the board members had already just come and talked to us about it, because family is not considered a guest.
Right.
And family's allowed to stay indefinitely as long as you want them to.
Yes.
So the owner gave us permission to have Logan park his car in another lot, a fellow owner's lot. So that was kind of cool.
That was really nice. Yeah. But the board didn't like that.
No, they didn't.
No. Right. So there's 4 guest parking spots in this campground or resort. And Logan was using one of those before we got permission to park in a private lot, because they didn't like that. Even though they're not being used, they didn't like that. So that's why we got permission from the owner to park in one of his fellow owner friends' spaces. But they didn't like that either.
No, they didn't.
No.
And this is when things really started getting creepy, because one of the park board members would walk in the empty lot next to us and have her cell phone out and recording
taking pictures of us.
Yeah, and then walking back behind the lot that we're in, which apparently is called a common area, right? And walking back around behind the RV.
Well, she did it a lot.
She did.
Which, I mean, I feel like if there's common area behind all the RVs and they need to do like some annual walkthroughs, inspections, maintenance, whatever, that's cool. But, give owners a heads up, post something, say we're doing our annual walkthrough between the hours of like 8 and 12, just so people will know to expect a bunch of ruckus behind your RV. You'll know what's going on.
I think that's pretty much courtesy, and I know we've been in other parks and campgrounds that have given us notice.
Yes.
Hey, heads up, we need to do something on your lot, fix some power.
Right, or when they're going to shut the water off to do some kind of maintenance, you get a heads up.
Right.
That doesn't happen here.
No.
And our water's been shut off a few times.
It has.
Yeah, without notice. Imagine yourself in the shower with your hair all like sudsy and your water shut off, and for an undetermined amount of time. Is that cool? I don't think so.
No, that's not cool at all.
So when we arrived here, there was still stuff left from the previous renter, and there were things kind of scattered all over the place, and those big wooden stairs that people like to use instead of their RV stairs that you can push up to the RV. There was a set of those in the middle of the lot. So we moved it out of the way and back to the side behind the shed area.
But we put it on the grass.
We put it on the grass.
That was
oh
a
my
mistake.
gosh. So she came over here instructing us that we needed to move it. So we did. We were happy to oblige.
Right, trying to make them happy.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't think I've mentioned it yet, but this couple, I had met them before, and, well, you had met them.
Yeah, I had met them
before.
as well.
Gosh, we hung out
with
them one night and had drinks together 3 years ago.
Yep, and they didn't remember us.
No, I had to remind them. Plus, I also helped them move their RV.
Because they didn't have a truck to do it.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
We're really good neighbors.
Yeah,
we are good neighbors.
Yes, we are.
We don't cause problems, and we try to accommodate everyone. But lines can be crossed. So let's talk about this shed, this little studio apartment. Back when we were here 3 years ago, your son came to visit, Alex.
Yeah.
And he stayed in the shed.
It's inside this little shed here. Bunk bed.
And not all of these would be the same, but every lot seems to have one. And my son loved it in here.
Because that's what everybody does around here. The grandkids come to visit. They stay in the shed. Kids, family. It's extra sleeping quarters. All of them have beds in them. And this one in particular has a full-size washer and dryer, full-size fridge, full-size bed, and it has running water, electricity, cable. I mean, everything set up to be like a little place for guests to stay.
Yeah, it's really a cool little place.
Yeah.
And every one of the lots here has them set up just like this or very similar.
Yes. So they've kind of set a precedent on this is what they're used for. So we didn't think anything of it.
Right, but then I get this text actually from some of these board members that we had known from before that he wanted to talk to me. So I met to talk with him about whatever his concerns were. And he tried to tell me that Logan wasn't allowed to stay in the shed, that there was actually a county ordinance against it. And I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? That he did shoot me another text with some rules, and it talked about sheds not being maybe set as a living situation, like not coded properly. We're just renters. There's a bed in there. I assume it's made for sleeping. So that's been our experience in the past. So we're like, well, that's what everybody is doing.
And we started kind of feeling picked on. Like first it was like the car. You can't park it in guest parking. Then you can't use that owner's lot. And now you can't use, it's like why are we such targets here?
Right. At the same time, there are neighbors having guests come over, and we can see them going into these sheds, and we assume spending the night, which seems like, well, that's fine, but exactly. They're singling us out for some reason. This board member, he's basically saying Logan's not allowed to stay in there, and he needs to leave, or they're going to come at us with some of their penalties they have for not, following the rules. And by the way, this is not in the rules that we signed.
Not in the rules.
You're letting that slide, even though that's technically not legal? Is that what you're saying, or?
The board will look the other way when it comes to weekend people visiting or visitors staying in the shed, but any longer than that, it's not acceptable. But yet it's not even their rule; it's a county thing. So he basically admitted to me that the board looks the other way when it comes to people just showing up on the weekend for a little bit. But because Logan was spending weeks or more than a month in there at a time, that's what bothered them.
Why though?
Yeah, even though, again, that was not in the rules that we signed.
Right, so when he was talking to you outside, he was trying to say that the pandemic was basically over, and it was just ramping up.
Yeah, it's crazy that in these tough times with the pandemic that you would be trying to tell someone to leave that's a family member, and you've got a place for them to stay with all of this going on that's safe.
Yeah.
It's like, that is not cool.
No.
So when I was talking to this board member, he said the owner of the lot we're renting from did not have the right to let us park Logan's car in another owner's lot.
Even though we got that owner's specific permission.
Right, because somehow that's against the rules, but the rules...
It wasn't in the rules.
Right, only says you can't have 3 cars in one lot, not the entire park.
Are they just picking on us?
Right, it just... So you can't park in guest parking, you can't park in another lot that you got permission to park in.
So we had to actually put the car outside of the gate.
Again, trying to make them happy. Still at this point, we figured we would take, Logan's car out and find him another place to put it, just to make him happy. Now, we know everybody is extra stressed out there with so many things going on, the worldwide pandemic, the economy, some people have lost their jobs, concerned about health care, money worries, family worries, the election coming up. There's a lot to be stressed about,
Yeah.
but I think now more than ever, people need to treat others with kindness.
Yes.
This is like your favorite area ever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I love it here in Destin.
There are so many fun things to do here.
Yes.
I mean, the white sand beach, the pretty water.
If you're a beach person, you would love it here.
Yeah, the snorkeling. We've gone jet skiing
yep.
as well. The e-bikes have been really fun.
Oh, so much fun.
Around here. Now, because we've stayed here before, this particular park has really special meaning for us.
Yeah.
Now, we knew the rules were pretty extensive back then.
Remember the one with your truck sticking out about an inch from the
yeah.
line?
Yeah.
They came and told him he needed to move his truck
Right.
in an inch.
If you're just outside of your spot by the tiniest amount, you do get told that you need to move that in. And that's unusual, even though
Yeah.
that might be a common rule. And we heard, it's not in the current rules, but we heard that not too long ago they used to say it was married couples only.
Yes.
So I think 3 years ago our neighbors then told the board and everybody else that we were married, just so we wouldn't be harassed back then.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the reason we weren't harassed. I don't know. Completely different experience 3 years ago compared to what we've had now. And we are on a different side of the park this time. That might make all the difference. Well, the rules we signed is one set of rules, but they've recently updated the rules to a whole bunch of new ones that we never signed or agreed to.
But they wanted us to.
Yeah, they did. And wow, those rules are way out there. And we're going to tell you what those are as well. Pretty crazy. Because of the pandemic going on, it seems like maybe some of the board members don't have enough to occupy their time.
We think they
maybe.
were bored and just needed something to do, and we were their target.
And so harassing the renters maybe is what they like to do. We get the definite feeling that they don't care for renters, actually, that renters are like a subset
Yeah.
of humans or something.
Yeah, they even have like little parties at the pool and renters aren't invited. Or maybe it was just us that wasn't invited.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe.
They're just so rude to us.
I don't want to go to a party now with a bunch of other people.
No, and none of them wear a mask. There's no precautions being made. There's no 6-foot rule. Nothing. It's like all out the window here. Okay, so one of the board members that we gave the gift certificates to, she is known in the park as Barney Fife. They joke around and they call her Barney and her one bullet gun. So it's kind of a joke,
Right.
a running joke. I don't know if she knows about it.
Or the board members are known as the park rangers because they're always looking for...
They're that bad.
Yeah, looking for things that you're violating.
Yeah,
So
it's that bad. They even dig in the garbage.
Yeah,
Like,
that's right.
They're weird. Okay. Okay, so Barney comes over and returns the gift certificates that we bought them as a thank you.
Yeah, and had some awkward reasons for that. And
I don't want to offend you, but here's your gift certificates back. It's like, what?
Right.
That doesn't even make sense. So we felt like they had something up their sleeve.
Right, and that
And they did.
They did.
And they did.
Yeah.
A lot up their sleeve.
Kind of like that thing if you have a boss at work and you give them a gift certificate and
They were getting ready to fire you.
right.
And then they feel like, oh, maybe I can't fire them.
Right. It's that kind of a thing is the feeling that I think was created there. So they
We
were
were just like, this is so weird.
just getting ready to unleash on us.
Yeah. It hasn't even started yet.
Yeah, right.
Oh, just wait.
Just wait. But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
I gotta call the police. They have already come on to this lot. The board members have, which is a violation of their policy. So they've entered our property. They have moved our property twice without asking physically moved our property twice in the middle of this pandemic.
Some of the people in this campground have been really
They have been
terrible neighbors.
terrible. Yep.
There's been a lot of rude people ever since things have opened back up.
My name's Kurt with Walton County Code Enforcement.
The board here has been harassing us.
I don't call someone a liar very easily, but all three of those complaints were not truthful.
Somebody needs to stand up for the little guy. I mean, like you mentioned, there's a lot of owners and other renters in here that they just keep their mouths shut because they don't want to cause trouble. And we felt like that a little bit, but I'm glad they didn't know who we were.
This way you got to come in inconspicuous and the fodder got to act silly.
Right, exactly. So if they will treat just anybody that way, then we at least have the ability to shine some light on that darkness and maybe make some change.
Now, just because this is a bad situation, don't give it a thumbs down unless you really hate the video. This isn't Facebook.
You're right. Some people think, oh, what a bad situation. Thumbs down, like Facebook. But no.
If you're being entertained by the video,
Or you learn something from us.
yeah, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we can share it with you guys because we got so many fellow full-time RVers or part-timers out there. You've ran into crazy stuff like this before, but this so takes the cake to a new level. It just, yeah.
Oh, crazy.
And we hope you're laughing as you're hearing this experience and watching it unfold, because that's what we do. And you know,
It was entertainment.
right, we laugh about it a lot.
Not only was it annoying, but we also found entertainment value in it because it was so bizarre.
Right.
It was crazy.
Right. And you're texting other channels about it, and they
About
can't
what's
wait for the video to come out because they're going to be entertained by it too. Well, I know this is going to be a thing in the RV community, and yeah, that commercial.
You need to break down your cardboard. Violation.
Oh, the HOA commercial.
Yeah, is that Geico insurance?
I think so. Yeah, and the HOA's clipping down like planters and hedging stuff, and somebody goes, "I see you've met
Cynthia."
Yeah.
So after this video, you need to actually we'll put a link to the video down in the description.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, go YouTube Geico HOA.
Yeah.
Ad, and you'll get a great chuckle out of that.
Yeah, and it feels like that's exactly what was going on here, but worse.
And any of you that have had a really tough HOA experience, because I know HOAs are really common with just regular houses.
Yes, I've lived in several HOA developments and never ever had problems ever. This is not normal.
Not normal.
No.
No. Now, we know some of you by now are already saying, you need to just leave.
Why didn't you just leave? You can just pick up and leave. But number one, we were in the middle of a pandemic. Things were crazy.
Right. And there's not a lot of other places around here to
There's nothing
stay
available. And I want to spend time with my son that I don't get to see very often.
And we had signed a lease, put down a $500 deposit. Now, it's possible the owner's pretty cool. He would have let us out of that earlier. But we thought things would maybe get better.
Yeah.
But no.
They got worse.
They got worse, a lot worse. And we're still here. So this is still unfolding. We're not going to share the name of this park just yet until we leave for fear of retribution of some kind. But if you're not a subscriber to the channel, hit the subscribe button. That way you'll get an update, when we release the next part of this series.
Right. This was going on so long and so much harassment that we had to make more than one part out of it.
So again, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. We appreciate that. Share it with your RV friends so we can all get a laugh out of it.
And be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification.
And comment. What do you think of this so far?
Have you ever run into anything like this?
When you're going around looking for places to stay, maybe
stay away from the HOA RV parks.
Yeah, don't do that. Thanks so much for watching, friends. Be safe.
Enjoy
and
your journey.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Sorry guys, I'm in the middle of a business meeting, but if you insist on interrupting me, that's fine.